Wow. So that was a very interesting 24 hours since we last went live.
Yeah, no, we did a show last night, and I think it was last night, right?
It was last night. Yeah.
And not only did we get news earlier today that Mike McDaniel was fired, but right after we finished our show, the final four contestants, if you will, candidates for the Dolphins GM job were released. So, but look, as big a story as that is, and that is a tremendously huge story, right? 4 years of Mike McDaniel is finally over. The biggest story, make no mistake about it, the biggest story right now is the Miami Hurricanes are playing for the right to get back to Miami and play for a national championship in their own stadium. And so we will be going live out to the desert in the Fiesta Bowl and have Josh Moser, Channel 7's Josh Moser, join us live in a second here. But for now, we're going to talk the news of the day, which everybody obviously, unless you're hiding under a rock, you could not have missed this news. And that is, of course, Mike McDaniel being fired by the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah. What do you? Okay, so let me pull that up. So it happened this morning, mid-morning, and breaking news on Twitter. That's how we all find out information on X. First person I called was you, but I was like the girl who cried wolf because I played a prank on Lou 2 days ago and said, "Babe, you won't believe what happened. You got fired." So,
yeah, no, you did. You got me. And so I had to do a double take to see if that was the case or not. But it is. Yeah, he was let go. It was definitely something that we did not expect.
No, we expect him getting fired. We just didn't see it maybe taking these many days. We thought it was for sure going to be on Black Monday.
Well, but that's what I'm saying. We didn't expect it because it didn't happen right away. And so it made no sense for this to be delayed out for 5 days. And so here's the statement from the Dolphins.
All right. So
and it says it there. You can read it there if you haven't seen it already. This is taken a couple of seconds ago here that we posted it up, but this was released right after it was done 7 hours ago. But you see all the retweets, the shares, the likes. A lot of people obviously trending on this statement from the Dolphins, an official statement from Stephen Ross. Of course, I've made my fake statements, but this is an official one from Stephen Ross. And they also posted Mike McDaniel's statement. So here.
I'm getting there yet.
So that was also posted on there. Look, it was both sides were very cordial towards each other.
Respectful.
Mike McDaniel didn't expect to be fired, I guess, and he kind of mentioned that, as did Stephen Ross, saying that he has a tremendous amount of love for Mike McDaniel. So both sides were very cordial in this breakup. But look, this is something that had to be done. And as mentioned, right after our show last night, which we were still unaware this was going to take place, the Dolphins did release their GM list, which we have here.
Yeah, so these are the most updated candidates as of Wednesday, January 7th, 9:20 p.m. So again, like Lou mentioned, it was after the show. You have Chad Alexander with the Chargers. Champ Kelly is obviously our current interim general manager who took the Holden place. And then we have John Eric Sullivan, who is with Green Bay, and then Josh Williams with the 49ers. So those seem to be the four candidates left for the job opening as the general manager of the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah, interesting to know. We mentioned this last night in the show that Chad Alexander was not amongst the initial names.
Yeah.
He was added after the fact. And so now he was not among the first 8 that were picked, or first 7, I should say. But after Harbaugh became available, coincidentally enough, Chad Alexander, who works with Jim Harbaugh, John Harbaugh's brother, out with the Los Angeles Chargers, and previously spent some time with the Baltimore Ravens, where John Harbaugh has spent the entirety of his last 18 years. So that was very eyeball raising there, and a lot of people point to that possibly being the hire. If they want to get John Harbaugh in town, it would make sense to get somebody with him paired up that he's worked with before. So
definitely, let's check in the chat. Barista Benny in the chat, greetings, friends. Big sis Lisa, she goes, the truth is no Dolphins head coach can be as great as Don Shula was. That is such a true statement. Don Shula had so big shoes to fill, and it would be dang near impossible, first of all, to repeat the perfect 1972 season and to just get everything that Don Shula brought to the team. But we'd like somebody close to Don Shula. That would be amazing. Good to see you guys. Also, Sammy in the house as well. Hi, guys. I promise I won't screw up the feeds tonight. Sammy, keep it on the DL, but you kind of predicted it a little bit.
Yeah.
Lisa also says, big game night. If you smelled the Hurricanes are cooking, we are definitely smelling what the Hurricanes are cooking. We are about an hour away from the start of the Fiesta Bowl. We cannot wait. It's going to be a great game.
Yeah, no doubt. And so, yeah, going back to the McDaniel situation here, I think the Dolphins, as per usual, messed this up. They should have done it right away, just like everybody else did, which is customary on Black Monday. The fact that they waited until a day and a half after John Harbaugh becomes available, it doesn't look good. It's not a good look. The fact that they let Mike McDaniel, have his end of the season press conference on top of his end of the game press conference on Sunday, and that one on Monday, he really came out and had kind of optimism and was kind of cocky, saying that I expect to be here for off-season workouts. I expect to.
Well, he didn't hear anything else, so
well, I get it, but what would have been better for the Dolphins to do is, hey, Mike, don't release your end of the season press conferences yet. Give it a couple of days. If they knew or had any inclination this could possibly happen, but it didn't look good the way it all came out. So
no, definitely. So the big question now is, what's going to happen first? Is the general manager going to get hired, or are you going to make a quick move and hire somebody like Jim Harbaugh, because he's not going to stay on the market? I'm sorry, John Harbaugh, because he's not going to stay on the market long. So that's pretty much the next big question that we're waiting to have answered. Is it going to be the general manager hired first, or is it going to be the new Dolphins head coach? I personally think that it's going to be the general manager, because I think that they're going to want the new general manager who will be taking place, who will be the new Dolphins general manager, will have an input on the new Dolphins head coach.
Yeah, no doubt. But you want right now, the fact that this all came out the way it did, it's very clear that the Dolphins are in pursuit of John Harbaugh. Now, they officially, from a lot of people, have not said that they are in communications with him. But I got to believe, just on the fact that Chad Alexander was named a GM candidate interviewee, and now he's among the finalists, tells you that there's something going on behind closed doors. And we'll wait to see.
Is that a knock? Is that somebody behind? Josh Moser in the house. How are you?
What's up, guys? I'm going to step out of the way. We got sidelines here at the Fiesta. Got the team getting set. There's Carson Beck right there, number 11. So we got the team getting ready. We're in the middle of a newscast right now, but you guys are fam. Got to hop on. And team's confident. I'm feeling good.
Awesome. How's the scene over there? Are fans making their way inside the building? Get a good sense of how the crowd is. 50-50? What does it look like?
What do you see?
It's early. Let me flip this around, though. See here, camera. But we got a little bit of a mix. No one's really in their seats right now because everyone's just kind of checking out the pregame festivities. Watch a nice little catch from the big guy right there. But
nice.
Yeah, that's pretty much the scene. We got time. Like, game's not on until 7:30, so right now it's a little bit easy. I don't know when my phone won't flip, but yeah, vibes are high. I would say the team's very calm, and that's a really, really good sign. And 3.5-point favorite, so we'll see what happens.
So last game, coach said that he's going to go into this game with the mindset of violence. Do you still feel like that's the mindset going into this game, or we're kind of more on the peace mindset? What do you feel?
I mean, look, this team loves to play violent. The one exception is Akeem Mesidor. When talking to him, he's like, look, I got to be in my happy place. Like, if I'm angry, I mess up. I got to focus. So this secondary, they got some hitters. Jacoby Thomas is a leader in that group. Wesley Basaint is another name. And really the key for me is Keontae Scott. He had the pick six. He's phenomenal. He's finally healthy from the turf toe injury that I'm not supposed to tell you about. But right now he is a second-round pick, and he's made himself a lot of money during this playoff run. But if you look at the teams, it's all about controlling the trenches. And simply Miami has a better squad in the trenches. We kind of talked about it a little bit earlier, but Trinidad Chambliss, they're going to get to him. It's just gap integrity. Can they not get upfield? Get selfish trying to sack him. If they can stay in their lane, win this game. I don't see Ole Miss scoring more than 21 points. So I'm thinking 24-21 Miami. Just going to put that on record real quick.
I love it. And yeah, it's got to be, you think, a defensive battle. You know, Corey Heatherman's chopping at the bit to, have that ball in Chambliss's hands so he can, have his defense go full force at him. Josh, I wanted to ask you in terms of any sound bites. I know King's royalty is out there. Have you seen Michael Irving? There's rumors that Ed Reed is there.
The Rock.
The Rock. Who have you seen out there in the desert?
I haven't seen anybody yet. Jeremy Shockey, I saw. Tim Tebow's in the building.
Tim Tebow, nice.
In town. Coach L is here. But, yeah, everybody will be filtering in. Like, you got to hit the tailgate a little bit and then, you know, pop on. Especially you're hanging out with Irvin and Edge and that crew.
Yes.
All right, before we go, I'll let you go, and before we get back to the last report, before you go to your next live segment on Channel 7, got to talk about this monster news that came out today.
McDaniel out.
What is your take on that?
Look, if you're hiring a GM needs to pick the head coach, period. But what this does, it means that Tua is done. Tua's gone. So they will move forward without Tua. We knew that would be a sticking point. We'll see if they trade him. We'll see if they keep him as a backup quarterback or if he can win a job. But this is going to be a complete rebuild. Honestly, kudos to Stephen Ross for making this difficult decision. But we're looking like we got a 5-year full rebuild. But I got Drew Rosenhaus in the building, so talk with him and circle back and get you a little bit more.
We appreciate it.
Well, listen, that's a huge story, but the biggest story you're at right now, that's the Hurricanes trying to come back to Miami for a national championship. And one more time, Josh, 24-21 is the score you got predicted tonight?
You heard it from Josh.
That's what I got.
Perfect.
All right.
Well, thank you. Thanks,
Glad
Josh.
I could join you. Love you guys.
Love you,
Hold it down.
Josh. Have a great
Later.
time. He is having the time of his life. He always gets the best stories to cover. So you guys saw it live. Josh Moser, Channel 7 News, live in Arizona, covering the Hurricanes and Ole Miss Rebels tonight in the Fiesta Bowl semifinals.
Tremendous. I mean, that's a big deal right there. He's on the scene right there. We're about a little bit less than an hour away from kickoff, and this is going to be the biggest game for the Miami Hurricanes in 23 years. Right. Ironically enough, since the last time they were in the Fiesta Bowl, that game was played at a different venue. It was played at Arizona State's campus in Phoenix. This is being played in Glendale, but still the name Fiesta Bowl, and the Hurricanes are hoping for a happy ending this time around to walk out victorious. And as mentioned, again, come back to Miami, which the national championship will be here, not this upcoming Monday, but on Monday the 19th.
Yep.
And that's where their sights are right now.
It would be a home game for the Hurricanes. Everybody, Canes from years and years ago would save up the pennies. I mean, it's a hot ticket. People are already looking at how much those tickets are going for. It's very, very expensive, but people would find a way to fill up Hard Rock Stadium to cheer on the Canes. Probably against, I said this last night, against Indiana, against Mendoza and Indiana. Yeah,
no, you got both schools have not been here for a while. Ole Miss you can make the argument that they've not played in a game this big in the program's history.
Yeah.
And the Hurricanes, as mentioned, it's been 23 years since they were last in this opportunity. So huge ticket, huge game, and it doesn't get bigger than this. There's so much on the line tonight, and we are excited to see it.
Yes.
We couldn't be more excited for Josh to have joined us. You heard what he said in terms of his score prediction. He said Hurricanes are going to take this one 24-21, which goes along with what I think people are expecting to have happen in terms of this being a defensive battle. Ole Miss is an explosive offense. Trinidad Chambliss, their quarterback, had 336 yards last week against Georgia, a very good defense as well. So, in order for the Hurricanes to win, they're going to have to control the clock and really run through that Ole Miss defense, and definitely that their defense win this game.
It's definitely not going to be a walk in the park. I personally think, Ole Miss is going to come up, obviously blazing, but I do think the Canes have what it takes to win. We didn't come this far just to come this far.
Yeah, at this point, they got in, right? Nobody thought they'd get in the first place, and they've parlayed that into 2 huge victories, and now in the semifinals, and they are 2 victories away from winning it all. 1 victory away from, again, getting back to Miami for the national championship. I mean, you got to relish the opportunity. Mario Cristobal looks laser focused.
Yes.
Saw Josh Moser's earlier report on Channel 7 where he caught some soundbite from Mario Cristobal, and he looks like he is in a zone that you couldn't, distract him or get him out of his character. And the only thing he's concerned about is getting back to Miami with another game to play, not to have end of the season exit interviews. He wants to get back here with 1 more game to win at home.
So, Lou, before we let everybody go, you're a big guy on score predictions. Can we ask what your prediction is for this game?
Yeah, I am along the lines of what Josh is saying. I don't think it's going to be a 3-point game, though. I think it's going to be an 8-point game. I got Miami winning 28-20. And I think the defense, again, is going to come up big. I think they're going to make a big play down the stretch that's going to, put this game a little, not so much out of reach, but in firm control of the Hurricanes. What do you got?
I'm more on the Josh side. I think it's going to be a close game.
Okay.
I think around that 24-17 mark. Canes.
Okay.
Canes.
Well, that would, again, that's got Corey Hellerman's defense written all over it. Jason Taylor doing a great job. I know the defensive line for the Hurricanes and the linebackers get a lot of credit, but a lot of that credit should go to Jason Taylor. When you got a Hall of Famer from the Dolphins, being in that locker room and teaching you every day, that goes a long way, and it is showed on the field by based on what they're doing. So we are thrilled. Again, we're now 40 minutes away from kickoff, and we are super excited for tonight's game. But again, recapping the top story, until the Hurricanes take the field, Mike McDaniel is out as Miami Dolphins head coach.
Yes.
This news broke earlier today. You said that it was unexpected, but expected. I thought it was unexpected because it took this long. And I feel the Dolphins should have done a better job in seeing this coming. We kind of said it on our show here last week that the Baltimore-Pittsburgh game could decide who the Dolphins' next coach is. And if they had any inclination of that possibly happening, they should not have let McDaniel have his end of the season interview with the press and let him go on and pretty much put himself in the mix to be here next year and off-season programs and all that. So that was very disparaging. So
I think they did it because they just didn't know what they wanted to do at that point. I truly believe that this wasn't done intentionally to thicken the plot or anything. I really just believe that they just did not know Monday, even Tuesday, and Stephen Ross and gang just really had to put everything out there to figure it out. I don't think it was the malicious.
No, I get it. And look, speaking of maliciously, I'd be remiss if I don't, say that I put a lot of stuff out there on social media and Twitter, and I don't apologize for it. Look, I'm sure Mike McDaniel is a nice enough guy. Yes. He's certainly done a lot of great things with the community.
We've seen him at DCC and everything.
This is not an indictment on his character as a person, but look, at the end of the day, this is a business. This is a results-driven business. We are season ticket holders. We not only spend money on them to watch them at Hard Rock Stadium, we travel on the road, to go out there. And we've taken people on the road with us through our travel company.
It's your passion. You want to see the team succeed, nothing against him personally.
And so no one wants to be there themselves and with others who share the same passion and frustration.
Yeah.
But that's where I'm going with, to see lackluster results. And so what we need to do is say, hey, you need to put things out there and you need to be realistic with the situation, and results matter. I mean, Stephen Ross had to talk about and think about, did he want to see Fire Mike McDaniel plane banners flying over the Hard Rock Stadium, opening day next season, and then into week 3, week 4, if you get off to a bad start?
Yeah.
And the answer, as you just said, is no. You don't want to see that. So the best thing you could have as a fan of any sport is have hope, right? And McDaniel did not give us hope. It was kind of like already tired. It was played out. And even if we don't have Harbaugh come to town, we have a GM who's going to have hope. We have, hopefully he makes the right decision in picking the coach, or they've already made that decision. But again, hope is all you could ask for. And with McDaniels being fired today, we have hope.
And as far as McDaniel, just to add a little bit on that, he's not just going to fall off the face of the earth, go to a Division III program, and you're never going to hear about him. You already have the Lions under Dan Campbell looking at him as an offensive coordinator. There's potential rumors about him going to Cleveland as a head coach. So the worst I could tell you, I want him to next chapter be great for him. Just don't fight us as a Dolphins fan, and then do a great job against us. That's the only thing I have to add.
I've heard Bills Mafia out there saying that if the Bills don't get it together here in the playoffs, he would be a good landing spot for him.
An offensive coordinator.
And as Dolphin fans, who wants to see Mike McDaniel come back here twice a year or go up against him twice a year, come down here and stick it in our face, which I'm sure he'll want to do it. So
no, I think he'd be good under with Dan Campbell, former Dolphin coach, running their offensive plays up there in Detroit. Cleveland wants to take a shot on him as the head coach because Lord knows Cleveland needs a lot of help as well. So we will see how this all plays out. But there's a lot coming up. As you guys know, we're looking for a general manager, a head coach, probably quarterback at this point. So as Josh Moser said before, this is going to be a rebuild. Just got to sit tight, trust the process, trust Stephen Ross, and hope that this rebuild.
Yeah, you mentioned
Yeah.
rebuild, but as you've seen here lately, rebuilds become a lot less problematic and a lot less tougher when you have a competent coach at hand. And so
Yeah.
you see what Sean Payton has done with the Broncos in a couple of years. You know, if John Harbaugh is able to come down here, I'm sure he'll put his program into place. He'll have the best people around him. He's a proven guy, and it wouldn't be this long. A lot of people are also concerned about his age. He's 63 years old, but heck, Pete Carroll was just coaching, 5 days ago at 74 years old.
Can I tell you, Rick Pitino coaches my basketball team, and I'm okay. Although it's a struggle year this year,
Yeah.
I'm okay with Rick Pitino as fine-wined age as he is. It's okay. Age is just a number.
Yeah,
Truly and sincerely.
absolutely. So,
I'm okay with age.
Yeah, I'm not worried about that. Harbaugh comes down here, he's going to be ready to roll and have this team turned around quicker than not. So one last look here at the GM, the final four, if you will. Chad Alexander from the Chargers. You got Champ Kelly, who's the interim GM right now for the Dolphins. John Eric Sullivan from the Green Bay Packers. I love his title, by the way, Vice President of Player Personnel.
That
means he knows, all the positions and everything he needs to do to bring in top talent down here.
With relationships.
Correct, exactly. And then Josh Williams, San Francisco 49ers, Director of Scouting and Football Operations. And I think now that McDaniel is no longer here, there's not that fear that Josh Williams, this is a very important point, that Josh Williams would have been brought in to coddle and to reform Mike McDaniel. That's out of the window now. And look, I wouldn't be surprised because a lot of people thought that Mike McDaniel was going to be sitting in on his interviews. I would not be surprised if these four gentlemen were asked, hey, we're considering hiring you, but by the way, we're also considering keeping Mike McDaniel as a coach. And I wouldn't be surprised if each of these gentlemen, including Champ Kelly, who's already been here, said flat out, look, I don't think that's the right thing. And I guess I'd accept the job, but I'd be looking to have a quick leash with McDaniel. So it'd be interesting to see if that, I don't think it'll come out, but I love the fact that Josh Williams is still there and McDaniels is not here any longer because it gives us hope that the right person for this job will be chosen.
Yeah. Well, we shall see because a lot is going to be happening within the next few weeks. This needs to happen sooner than later because with the draft coming up in April in Pittsburgh, it needs to start with the draft, restructure player contracts. So this cannot be, let's go to Cancun, think about it when we come back. Talks need to be happening now. Decisions need to be made, and we need to go forward with it and hopefully, make it better.
Yeah. So a lot to, take in here in the next couple of days. We know that we're definitely going to have a new general manager selected. We know we're going to have a brand new head coach at some point.
Yeah.
I will say this, though, and we're going to talk about this on future shows. I think it's going to take a little longer, unfortunately, than we expect here because, as we mentioned last night's show, there are, potentially coaches in teams that are in the playoffs right now that are, trying to win a game this weekend that should they lose, that might open up a spot for those teams. Those teams and their owners might consider making a move based on Harbaugh's, accessible opportunity now. So we'll have to wait and see.
We will. We do know that Troy Aikman, we failed to mention him. I'm sure he's making calls as we speak. So there's a lot of wheels in motion going on. And guys, we just have to trust the process. That's all we can at this point. Most of us want to make McDaniel out. We got what we asked for. The whole Tua situation is going to have to play itself out as well. And we just have to hope for the best. It's all about hope. You said it best. Hope and peace 2026. Those should be your two words as well. And we'll see how this all plays out. But we're here for it.
Yeah. And you mentioned Troy Aikman. So Troy Aikman was initially brought in as a consultant to the GM. Yeah. But look, you're paying him that much money, right?
Yeah.
Make him stick around, ask him whatever you want. And so now that McDaniel's out, why not, get Troy Aikman's insight on who that coach should be? They will. Exactly. So to your point. So that should be what happens next. So, but guys, listen, if you're watching this on X or on Twitter, come over to YouTube, like this quick episode that we're doing, this live episode that we're doing spontaneously. Thank you again to Josh Moser for joining us live from the Fiesta Bowl in Glendale, Arizona. Yeah. That was awesome. We are now about 35 minutes away from kickoff. So this is tremendous. This is this could be, think about this football wise. I mean, if Miami were to win tonight, the Hurricanes win.
It's crazy.
You have the dawning of a new era with the Miami Dolphins, and then you have the Miami Hurricanes playing for a national championship should they win. This could go down as one of the biggest nights in South Florida sports history with these major news stories that are taking place in the world of sports. So we will see what happens. But again, guys, like this live episode now. And if you have not done so already, subscribe to the channel. We've got a bunch of stuff that we're planning ahead.
Yeah.
We love covering our South Florida sports teams. We love being on the pulse and on the scene of everything that's going on, especially on a day like today. And so again, subscribe to the channel.
In the meantime, let's go Canes.
Let's go
because
Canes.
We are this close from having the U is back, I believe. And let's see how tonight goes.
Yeah, this was also a picture taken of the Fiesta Bowl there.
Beautiful stadium.
You see the
it's where the Arizona Cardinals play.
That's right. The Hurricanes end zone in green there with the orange. And we hope a lot of touchdowns from the Hurricanes are scored in that end zone tonight and the other end zone as well, if you will. But we are hoping. We are hoping. Well, yeah, but for the Hurricanes on either end zone, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Score on both. Score frequently. Win this game tonight. Let's go Canes! All about the U.
All right, guys, enjoy the game. Enjoy football this week and a lot of good NFL playoff games, and we will catch up with you next week.
Yep. And if you're watching locally, guys, make sure you follow Josh Moser, all his reports on his Twitter.
WSVN.
The most knows, and also on WSVN. Reports leading up to the game, reports after in the post game, and definitely you'll be following the team along for as long as they go, which hopefully is 2 more games.
All right, guys, have a great night and let's go Canes.
To the game, go Canes.